back, episode 157 of Journey to a Million. After a few weeks off, we're back, and the draft has come and gone here. And from Green Bay, it was a great experience for all of us to attend. And we've already had a rookie draft come and go for Dynasty. So we're excited to share some fantasy insights, some early takeaways, some winners, losers, the NFL side as well, and have the full squad here too. Zack Rausch, Jared Valleskey. Jared, we'll start with you. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks.
Yeah. You had a draft pick this year, so you were able to actually draft someone, and
next year
controversial pick too. So
yeah,
that's exciting.
Not
and
controversial. It fits my team. It's funny how Zach comes to me at the draft. We're sitting there at the draft when the Bears take Luther Burden, and he goes, "Oh, I hate that for them. He's not going to do anything. They have so many weapons. He's not going to be good for fantasy. That sucks." And then I pass
Loveland or Burden?
Burden. And then I pass on Burden, and he goes, "Oh, why didn't you take Burden there? Sometimes talent's better. Take him. You should have taken him." After telling me that he's not going to be relevant.
So Zach's coaching you now and managing your team.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, it's exciting. Well, Zach, how's it going with you?
Good.
Oh,
good.
They have a great rookie draft, so I didn't know.
What'd you say?
I said you didn't have a good rookie draft, but I'm kidding, because didn't you have the 101 and you traded up for the 102?
And then you sold his entire future for the 102. So
yeah,
Hampton is the guy.
Terrible pick.
That's why I was just offered in another league. I was offered Najee for a couple seconds, so that tells you the trades I'm getting offered.
Yeah, and Zach uses the argument that Drew didn't need a quarterback, but he still took Jackson Dart. Well, no, of course you're going to take Dart. He's a quarterback. Like, those don't come and go in a 2-quarterback dynasty league. You need as many quarterbacks as you can get. So of course he's going to take a quarterback when he's on the board. It's obvious.
I took Penix at 211 last year, and look what happened. So
Zach's argument for the reason why I should have taken talent with Burden over Scatabo, or whatever the hell Scatabo was, because even if you don't need that position, you still need the talent sometimes. What sense does that make? Like, I don't know. I get it sometimes if you're talking about a top player. Like, I'm not going to pass on Genty if I have the 101 if I don't need a running back. But you got to look at the other person's team before just saying, well, you should have taken the talent. I have like 6 running backs receivers compared to 2 running backs. Kenneth Gainwell and my backup's like Miles Sanders or Braylon Allen. I need a running back. So it was obvious.
If you're rebuilding, who cares what your lineup looks like? Who cares if you're starting a...
What is then? I just don't have a running back to rebuild with. What do you mean? Like, I can always trade for one if I need one.
It doesn't matter for 2 years.
What do you mean?
You go for the best value.
So in 3 years, I have 3 first-round picks next year. I have 3 of them. I'll get 3 quality players. There you go. 2 years. He's 25, gets the brunt of the carries, and I have a great team around him. There we go. There's my team.
He's on a 4-year deal, Zach. That's how I look at it.
I mean, I'm throwing this year away. You told me I'm tanking, and I'm going to get out-tanked by someone. You know I'm going to be, what is that, 12 teams? I'm going to be 11th or 9th or whatever it is.
That league has a couple teams tanking, which is going to be interesting for the standings, I think, because...
And who got you Genty this year, Zach? Oh, okay. Moving on. You're welcome.
Tough. But no, I really took Dart there. More so, had a couple guys lined up. Thought I'd be able to get someone, and then they go with the 110, 111. Right, obviously, if Hunter made it to me at the 112, I may have considered it, but I probably still wouldn't have gone that way. But obviously, Loveland. I feel like Zach's league, I think we're going to see ADP change quite a bit from in these next couple months. More so with when I was looking at like the running backs go early, like I thought that was reasonable. I think RJ Harvey might go, and again, he was drafted in Denver, and he's one of those guys
he's going to be end of the first.
He might get up to the end of the first, and he's one of those guys who on tape. I mean, I'll just say it personally. I thought there was like 10 running backs better who I thought pre-draft. And look when you end up in a spot like that, landing spot's great. Obviously, statistically, he has great stats in college. We talk about which you gotta like, but He's a guy, if you would have just put him in any other, landing spot, call it, even Indianapolis, like in Miami, if he went to one of those spots, he's going to be drafted in the mid to late third round probably. So I'm a little skeptical of guys like that, but there's great value in Zach's league. I thought Trent, who got him at the 2.5, is a phenomenal value for what you're getting. So I think we're going to see spots like that get pushed up. Zach went up and traded for Trey Harris, right?
Yeah, I traded for Trey Harris and Hampton.
Another guy who was a well-liked receiver tape-wise, but also I'd say good value on based on, But
I think he fits the offense really well.
Yeah.
He's a good complement to McConkey.
Another one I want to mention, Matthew Golden. So obviously we talk, most of us are Packer fans. Jared's basically a Packer fan. Usually in our leagues gets pushed up. There's always some sort of bias. I thought he actually went quite late from when, we've seen Packer prospects go in the past in these leagues. So
you go what, like 2-1, 2-2, something like that?
Yeah, which I think that's going to be where he ends up, but in most leagues.
Yeah.
Zach, why did you trade? Go ahead. Sorry, why did you trade a third? You got my third for Jalen Wright, and then you traded that third, right? To go back 2 spots.
So
I traded the 310 so I could get the 312.
It's basically cheating.
It is cheating, but like,
how's it cheating?
You get the first picks off the draft. Off free agency. It's
it's part of the value of the pick.
But still, like, why would you? Makes no sense. Just so you can pick up a player or two that you're never going to use.
Well,
for the because all those guys, it's all those guys are basically like the same value. So I'd rather get my first choice to pick up.
And Jalen Wright is like
off waivers.
21 years old.
Yeah,
and he's probably the backup this year.
I don't know. I wasn't a big Wright guy. I think
neither am I really. But I'm just saying, he's the backup right now with almost right there. So
yeah, that's basically
Achane wasn't fully healthy last year, was he? He missed a few weeks.
No, he's good the whole year.
Yeah,
was he?
Well, so for what Zach, rookie leagues after the 312, generally how leagues should be ran is it should be paused and then there should be a set time that the league agrees upon.
If there's a normal commissioner,
If there's a normal non-corrupt league with a commissioner who plays there. But in Zach's defense, this league has always been done like this. So I guess why change it, right? But that was the first time I've seen that. I was like, what are you doing? And then I thought about
once corrupt, always corrupt. No reason to change it.
Why did I even text? Because I was thinking more about it. I'm like,
now it's changed. He could have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody could have done it. But you also, I saw your bench. You had a lot of spots you wanted to pick up guys. So it made sense why you did it. So I don't know. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. But hey, you live with the rules. Nobody said anything. I was confused because I put even like a confused emoji in the chat thing. Because I was like,
did Alex see that trade and just probably confused? Like, yeah, I'll take 2 spots higher. Why not?
And he took Fannin. I wanted Harold Fannin there, so that actually hurt me. But
you do have one or what?
The trade.
Yeah, because I do think Fannin and Ferguson. Well, obviously both. If you're looking at tight ends with opportunity, those two obviously stand out. Well, actually, let me take that back. I think every tight end drafted, like the team had a glaring hole at tight end. Sure, you could say the Bears, but Kmet was primarily a blocking tight end.
Are you not a Jelani Woods truther anymore? Are you?
I'm still a truther, but I think rather having
a clear opportunity. He's behind Njoku.
Well, I'm talking about more so Zach down the road. Njoku's contract situation too. We talked about a couple weeks ago. I'm not talking instantly, but if you look at the guys, we talk Higbee. I'm talking dynasty, but there's a little bit of redraft in here. Like Mason Taylor's the guy who's like with the Jets, who that was a landing spot. As with Warren, a lot of people wanted. So thought that was a nice thing for for that. Also, Elijah Arroyo too going to Seattle. I thought that was nice because Darnold's got people there now, receivers and whatnot, receiving options, and then additionally Jalen Milroe comes in. So hey, if Darnold doesn't work out, I think there is good value in Milroe. It's almost like the Michael Penix situation last year. Obviously, a little different in terms of talent and whatnot, and what we believe NFL ready is. But that was kind of my comp year over year. But did you guys have any clear winners, losers in the draft?
I think that the Rams, I think, did a great job of. They didn't even use their first round pick, but now they get two firsts next year. They get the Falcons' first round pick, who I told Zach right away when they did it. They probably, the Falcons are kind of a middle of the road kind of team, and Stafford's got one more year on his deal, so they'll get 2 firsts next year in the draft, and could easily take a quarterback like a Quinn Ewers or Quinn Ewers. What am I saying? Arch Manning or a I don't know any other really names in the draft next year, but they'll have some holes next year that they can easily fill with their 2 firsts, and the rest of the draft I didn't pay too much attention to, but they got their tight end of the future hopefully in Ferguson, so I think they did a pretty good job. There's a lot of teams that did really well. I thought the Packers was actually pretty good too. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, I'm gonna say the Colts too, but that's just my bias. But
hey, Hunter Woolner, they drafted Wisconsin guy, 7th round, got a nice innovation.
Yeah,
that was refreshing to see. I like what Cleveland did, and I think that's an obvious one. I hate to call out the right. You got value. They value based drafted. It was refreshing to see, but it was something you don't always see. So right, they trade back to 5, get some value there, pick up a first for next year, then go, hey, we get Shador in the 5th round, but we already took Dylan Gabriel. Well, what's the upside? They were chasing upside, and that's what a team. The obvious is when people are going, fighting for the jobs, you got to make some of those upside swings. But
can I say something here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Besides the Gabriel pick, if you ignore that, they had a perfect draft. Like everything, Shador was a steal. I don't care how far he fell, whatever it was, still a steal. That's upside right there. No matter there's no risk there really. But if you get rid of the Gabriel pick, because they did reach on him a little bit, there were better options on the table at the time. Consensus, that's what people have been saying. But if you get rid of that pick, you think of everything that they did. Even the Jacksonville, like you said, trade back to 5. Everything was perfect for them, and they need kind of perfect drafts if they want to compete in 2 or 3 years. So I think they're the obvious winners. The one pick I still don't understand is the Saints getting a quarterback in what was his name? The 27-year-old, 26-year-old.
Show.
Yeah. I still don't get it. I've looked at a lot of different people's reactions, and I don't think anyone can really understand it. I don't know if you guys have anything that you've seen that kind of justifies that.
I thought we saw with Rattler. Well, they took a shot at Rattler last year. So it kind of feels like they're just trying to take some upside plays there. He wasn't my favorite.
They took him over Milroe too. They could have easily gotten Milroe there. Right?
And yeah, no, I didn't like the Saints draft, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm in your camp on that. But let's go back to the Cleveland draft. They got Judkins, and then they went out and also got Dylan Sampson. They got 2 running backs, kind of solidifying hey, we're gonna this is the Cleveland kind of team. I know that was a key part, but the Mason Graham pick though too, again, adding the defensive line, I like it, and where they were there. I thought that was a fine pick. I know they were kind of in an odd spot because it would have been really cool, if Abdul Carter somehow fell there, something like that. Obviously another edge, but our defensive guy to pair with, rusher to Garrett, of course. So, but yeah, the quarterback room is interesting now. Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, and Sanders.
And the Steelers still didn't solve their quarterback issues, so I don't know what they're gonna do. Not going off topic of the Browns, but
Will Howard.
Yeah.
If they're really gonna go Will Howard, then go for it. Yeah, but I feel like they're still gonna go for a veteran for a year or 2.
I was surprised, but again, round 6 value on him. It's like, why not? I mean, Caleb Johnson was a guy, another prospect who, but I didn't love.
He's a shorter, skinnier version of Najee. That's literally what all he is. Like,
he's a lot better of a running back than Najee.
I don't think he is. I really don't. I mean, he wasn't the best at Iowa. Like, he's good enough to be drafted, obviously, but he wasn't like a standout guy at Iowa. He
was like second in all of college football last year in rushing.
In rushing, sure, but like I'm just saying, like, impact wise, like maybe he put up the stats, sure, but he didn't really make that team better at all. Like, sure, he would help here and there, but it just was empty stats. I that's what I saw, but I watched a few Iowa games. He didn't seem to make that much of a difference, but I don't know.
And again, I'm a Jaylen Warren guy. I think we know Johnson's going to have a prominent role in that offense this year, and I think Warren's still going to be an accompanying back. But I feel like, and where he's going, I thought where he went in Zach's league was just right. I think if he went any earlier, I'd say like we're pushing running backs up too much. I take Judkins over him. Very firm on that. I think that's consensus. I don't know. Zach has a.
I don't know. I would probably.
I have consensus.
Caleb Johnson.
I'm consensus.
I'd probably take Caleb Johnson. Because I think there's a reason Cleveland drafted Dylan Sampson, and I think Sampson's a great complement to Judkins for football. But he's also going to take. I mean, I don't think Judkins is going to really catch many passes at all. I mean, they did it with Nick Chubb. It's going to be. I feel like it's going to be the same thing.
I'll argue that I think Jaylen Warren's going to play the role that you think Sampson's going to play with Johnson. But I also
what offense is going to be better though?
That's another factor too, and how much are they going to run the football? Who's going to be the quarterback? Are they going to need to run the football a lot? So don't hate it. Right now, I'll tell you that Johnson's RB5 in this class with Judkins ahead of him at RB3. Travion Henderson, that's a guy. I mean, Patriots obviously had a phenomenal draft. I don't think
ahead of Henderson.
I think Patriots are probably top
Henderson's
3 draft of the year or this year.
Yep. Henderson's ahead of Judkins. It goes. Let me just give you the top 5 running backs quick. Genty, Hampton, Henderson, Judkins, and Johnson.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I thought you said Judkins was 3. That's why I was confused.
Got it. Yeah. So that's how that shook out.
Do you guys know much about I think his name's Will Johnson, the cornerback, right?
Yep.
So I wanted the Colts to take him in the second round. That was at 40.
Good value, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been great value. And they took JT, the
Ohio State guy.
Yeah. Looking back, I feel like people are saying there's actually like serious concern about Johnson's knee injury.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Is that something to be concerned about? Because I was mad that we didn't get him, but looking back, I'm kind of like wondering if I should be mad because apparently his knee goes like the other way. It's like almost backwards. So I don't know. That's what I've heard.
I honestly don't know much.
I haven't.
But yeah, I've kind of heard the same thing from.
Yeah. So maybe I shouldn't be as mad as I was at the second pick for us.
We've seen running backs fall in the past too, where like Jay Ajayi not having Achilles.
Tajay Spears.
Spears.
Did he not have an ACL?
Yeah. ACL. But we're pointing out like this has happened before, and we're
he was missing one of the ligaments in his knee.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So he just didn't have one?
We're saying okay. Yeah. But
I thought you meant he tore it or something.
Jared, why we say that is, we've seen guys fall in the past, and in Ajayi's case, probably at cost. We didn't play fantasy football back then in a dynasty rookie league.
Yeah.
Where you got him, I assume it paid. I mean, he had relevant years, so it kind of worked out. So far with Spears, probably not so much, you'd say, but that's another piece where there could be value there. Could and that's the piece of that.
Yeah.
But Jared, overall, the Colts draft, I mean, we were texting first round. It was like, is it going to happen? Like, the stars are aligning right
Oh, I
now.
was so
Tyler.
happy. As soon as I heard the Bears take Loveland, I knew it was going to happen. Which I wouldn't have been mad with Loveland, but I feel like Warren was. Zach said Loveland was the best tight end in the draft, but I didn't think so.
I think Loveland's the best receiving tight end in the draft. I think Warren might be the best football tight end in this draft. I think Warren's going to be so unique that they can bring this offense. I don't know how it's going to work with Indianapolis. I mean,
it just gives Richardson that like safety net. We haven't had a tight end like that since Jack Doyle, since Dallas Clark. We haven't had a tight end that has been reliable. I mean, I'm kind of assuming Warren's going to be reliable, but like it's been Mo Alley Cox, it's been Trey Burton, it's been all these not nobodies, but players, people that they're not stars. So I think with him, it's going to be really good for Richardson's career. Just if he can connect on those 5-10 yard passes that he's kind of struggled with, just get a few of those going. Then you can go deep, run the ball. I said it makes him kind of 3-dimensional. You can throw, he can run, he can check it down too. So it's something I'm kind of excited for. But then again, we're the Colts, so it's probably going to be like a 9-win season again. But I just want to see progression, and I'll be happy, honestly.
I thought, again with the Colts draft, I think that's going to be so unique. Riley Leonard, future quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm happy with. I'm fine with it, but
we'll bring in a guy. It was a good value.
Yeah.
I thought, I thought DJ Giddens was one of like the better pass catching backs in this class. I think he's going to be a nice complement to what JT offers. I think we're going to see. Obviously JT's running that show, but I think this is the first time you'll see a back there in the last couple of years that's going to have some good passing, because we know JT's not used much in the passing game. I mean, the stats show it. But I think this offense is going to be more east and west. I think it's going to be a component that we're seeing. I mean, with a lot of these guys, I'm just worried about, maybe this is where Zach with his tight end bit here too is, Warren's was kind of used in the slot in college, kind of not. Colts have a lot of slot guys.
We do. That's what people were saying, that it doesn't really work because slot. We already have that slot filled with Josh Downs or A.D. Mitchell. Yeah. We got people that can fill that slot.
Pittman,
Pittman. I mean, I think Pittman's normally that slant kind of guy where he's the 10 yards out, but Richardson has missed him. He hasn't had that kind of. Pittman should be our number one, but Josh Downs was by far our number one last year, which shouldn't happen. Richardson couldn't find Pittman, and he had a career low year. But going back to you saying, East and West with the running back situation, I think Tyler Goodson too. I mean, third-year player now, whatever he is. He kind of came on at the end of the year last year with his pass catching, but still, he's not really a reliable running back, as we saw in that game against the Texans 2 years ago. I mean, he can't catch passes, so that's something, as well as Jason Bean, Bean. The guy from preseason. He was the Colts quarterback last preseason. He looked the best out of like anyone I watched in preseason, but apparently he's going to play a huge role in pass catching and possibly being some kind of a running back, screen catcher, something like that. But he's listed as a quarterback. Just, I don't know how much to expect. They said he's going to have a significant increase in production this year, but no idea.
Got it. Yeah, I thought, again, the Colts, I thought that was a solid draft too. I mean, there wasn't a lot of drafts I hated. There were some obvious ones. But like, I don't know, for Carolina, for example, like obviously they got Ted. Like, okay, they keep taking swings at receiver, but from there it was I don't know. I thought they had nice free agency. I think their draft didn't really complement like the needs there. They got another running back, right? They drafted Trevor Etienne in the 4th round. Thought that was early in terms of, we saw a lot of these other running backs go rounds 5 and 6 even. So
I think Zach did not like the Buccaneers draft.
Oh, yeah. I mean, theirs was
for fantasy reasons.
What about for football reasons, Zach?
Oh, that either. But they had, I mean, I would have loved it if they would have picked Jahdi Barron there. Instead, he went to Denver to pick after. They obviously have huge holes in their secondary. Their defense was a big problem last year, and
Will be.
Denver didn't need
yeah,
him.
it's
I'll
going to
tell
be
you
the
that.
same team as last year. But yeah, I thought that would have been a home run pick for them, and they passed on it to get a third string receiver.
You flip those.
But-
You flip those 2 picks, and it's perfect for both teams. I think.
They went
Yeah.
corner second round, I will say,
Yeah.
and third round. So it's not like they didn't address corner whatsoever.
They addressed it. Yeah.
But to your point, at cost, Egbuka, and he was one of my favorite receivers in the draft. So, just where I drafted too, I did draft him first round in that rookie draft. I wouldn't every league, but situationally, I like the value for what I think he will become. I do think, again, this is going to be
probably a 2-year wait though until.
Oh yeah, again, I was the Jalen McMillan guy. This tells me how they feel about McMillan. I think a little bit.
Yeah, because you're waiting. Evans is 31, so you think in the next year or two, he's probably going to start.
Receivers stay for, 34.
Usually around like 32, 33 is where.
But they can. Like Adams is still going. He's 33.
32.
Hopkins.
There's some.
He's 32,
Evans is
but
one of those
he's
guys.
declining a bit.
Same as Hopkins. Yeah, there's decline, sure, but
Hopkins, Hopkins has declined.
Yeah.
I think Godwin. The question for me is going to be how he comes back. Obviously, hoping the best and how he comes back, but I don't know what to expect this first couple.
Yeah. I guess that would be like one thing but they just signed him to an extension, so I'd assume they got to feel pretty good about his recovery because they signed to that extension.
I would also agree they signed him
after the injury.
Yeah. Well, maybe we just, maybe this means Bucky Irving, they don't want to use him. They want to throw the ball 60 times a game. It just, I think, based on this, they better be one of the pass heaviest teams in all of football next season.
Them in Cleveland, or them in Chicago.
Well, yeah, I agree too, because DeAndre Swift survived the draft. That's why, not that I was surprised. Well, I was surprised about that, but I was also surprised that you traded him. For the two, I like the trade for you. Don't get me wrong, but you traded him after the fact he survived the draft was kind of my.
Wait, Zach, you traded DeAndre Swift and I wasn't involved.
I got the 203.
Well, you got great value, and maybe that was baked in the price. Maybe that's where I'm a little off. I don't know if honestly, the guy was sold on that.
For me, I think Groshon's going to be used a lot.
I hope so.
I think, if you look at Ben Johnson's time in Detroit, his 3 years, 2 of them he had David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. The other year he had, was it DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams?
That's right. I think Roschon's going to get a lot of touchdowns, so that's what you're.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of red zone touches, I should say that better.
Let's not compare how people correlate between offensive coordinator and head coach until we see it.
Same play caller.
But it never. I
know
it's play caller, but it's a bigger role of a coach.
This is Zach's speculation.
Over the top of everything. It's not just offense. So just things don't.
I feel like this correlates more than being like, it's not going to be related at all.
Well, I'm saying as an offensive coordinator, same guy. As an offensive coordinator, you only focus on the offense. You focus on your guys, your schemes, everything like that. Now, head coach, you have to oversee the offense, which you do pretty well, which he's shown. You got the defense.
Yeah, look at Brian Dable.
You got a lot of things going on. Yeah, like
with the Bills, Josh Allen. He was the Josh Allen protege.
Yeah,
or the Josh Allen mentor, if you will.
Yeah.
So.
It always happens, though. I've seen it with Cliff. I know it goes opposite way of head coach to OC or DC with Cliff Kingsbury and, even I don't know who's another one.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
There's been a lot of head coaches that get another head coaching chance, like Frank Reich, and, it doesn't really work out. But I'll just hold off on saying I think that Ben Johnson's going to be the best coach of all time.
I think he's going to call plays the same way he's always called plays. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. With the new system, you never know how he's going to call
But
plays.
It's not
I'm
new
going to
system.
say
It's
it.
his
There's a
team.
lot of mouths to feed in that offense in
It's the same
Chicago.
system that he's used the last 2 years.
It's a new team, new players. Like I'm just saying, not different system. He's going to keep the same system, but
It's
he's
not
got
really
different players.
new players. It's DeAndre Swift again. We saw what he
DeAndre
did with
Swift.
DeAndre Swift. Do you think he's going to do something different?
4 years ago, DeAndre Swift, or 3 years ago.
Yeah, now Swift is worse.
Yeah, so he's not going to use him as much. Like he's not as good.
That's why Zach traded him.
It still proves my point.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's a bad trade. I'm saying
I just asked why, like,
Yeah.
if that guy baked it in, if you think, or like,
yeah.
because the 203 for him, like,
I would have got the 2 or 3 before the draft. I can tell
There's a
you.
reason
that.
okay,
I
so
didn't
you
accept
sold
that
high.
trade. You wanted him to go to me, and I didn't want Swift. There's a reason I didn't accept that trade. I see no value
Makes
in
sense.
Swift. So
Yeah, man, I think he'll be fine, but I still think like he's going to have. He's not going to be a guy that's going to make a difference in the lineup, right? Like you start him, you hope for 15. 15, you got to be happy with, you know.
yeah.
I thought,
No, you know what you're doing when you make trades for the most part, as long as Herbert and Mahomes aren't involved or Shakir.
as long as Jared's not involved, Jared's been the one who's
Yeah.
just fleecing,
Yeah.
getting value left.
I think I have your first for next year, Zach. I think it's
Probably, I don't know. I
I
don't
think
have
I
any picks.
I
unfortunate.
thought Houston. That was another interesting one. So
They took a lot of
Jaden-
weapons.
They get Higgins in round 2, Jaden Higgins.
Yeah.
Then Jalen Noel. So both Iowa State guys go
Mm-hmm.
to Houston. And, well, I mean, we know injury-wise what happened last season and whatnot with them. It was tough. I mean, Diggs is gone.
Yeah, that's the reason they
now
got.
England.
They tried getting a replacement. for
Tank
Diggs.
Dell, there's, some concerns
Yeah.
there now with his injury. So
I think
it
Tank
feels
Dell's
like,
out the
hey,
whole year.
rookies. What?
Tank Dell's out the whole year.
That's what I'm saying. There's concerns
Yeah.
there too. Is
Yeah.
like, yeah, there's so. I mean, you
But
look at
don't
Dalton
be
Schultz.
don't be surprised if the Texans take a little step back. Stroud showed some regression last year. I'm just saying he could turn into a pretty glorified Trevor Lawrence pretty quick. Just saying.
They need an offensive line. That was their biggest issue
And did
last
they
year.
and did they fix
And they
that?
traded Tunsil. They
Yeah,
fixed
they
it.
got rid of their best player. Yeah.
They took did they draft a guard?
I don't know. I'm sure
Yes.
they did at some
I think
point.
Yeah, they
guard and
went.
tackle.
They had 2 seconds. They got a guard in the second.
They also traded in. They traded up a lot. They traded
Houston
like
was a
3,
team
4
that made a
times.
lot of moves. Yep,
Yeah.
that's right. So,
Yeah.
well, the question I
They
have
signed
for you.
Cam
all-
Robinson.
Oh yeah, so
What's
so
it?
they made it. They have a couple new faces on the line, but question was Jane Higgins or Noel. Like, is there a guy you're looking at of those 2 Iowa State guys? Again, Higgins went around before.
I think Noel. Obviously, I took him
so-
in rookie draft. I think
I
either
think
way,
the
like
hope
they'll
is
get value on that team.
you're getting
Like,
opportunity with both
Nico.
guys.
Yeah.
It looks like.
Yeah.
I think the hope would be that Kirk moves on after 1 year, and then you got those 2 alongside Nico Collins.
You guys hyped up Kirk signing there so much. Like guys like
did
30
not.
years old.
I didn't even mention Kirk. That tells you how I feel about him.
Yeah. I remember you guys saying, I don't know who it was. Maybe it was just you, Zach, saying it was actually going to be a good signing and that he's going to be used and he's
Yeah, I like it. for
fantasy
them.
relevant. I don't get it. Like he's not a 24-year-old receiver. He's older and I don't
Yeah,
know.
he's like 28, 29, right?
Something like that.
If he
might
gets
be-
that slot role, I think he has to be at least on the radar for fantasy.
To start the year, no question. Yeah.
Who's the
think
best
good.
AFC South
He could
receiver?
flex.
If you take Nico Collins out of the mix.
Oh gosh.
go Brian Thomas?
Brian Thomas. Easy.
Yeah, obviously.
The question's
he's
who's
probably
number
up there
2.
with
Who's
Nico.
third? Who's third then? If you go Brian Thomas,
Travis
Nico
Hunter.
Collins, you think
I'll
Hunter?
go. Yeah, I'll go.
I think Hunter right now. You got Ridley, who's whatever.
Okay,
You
best
got
full-time receiver. Like, do I say it?
Pittman.
Like, is it Downs? Is it Pittman?
Yeah, I think Downs is our one, to be honest. But even me saying that is like shows that we don't compete with,
I'm just worried about what
Maybe
kind of
Hunter's
targets Pittman's
better.
going to get.
Yeah.
Downs had much better quality targets last year. That's why I say him right away. But I wouldn't mind saying Hunter in there either.
It's just
but
weird
I don't
that
know what kind of.
Hunter. I don't know. I want to see how they use him first. If he's a cornerback first player, then no way. But if he's
A quarterback needy team.
Everything
drafting
is
him,
went
so-
to everything is went to receiver first though. And like
Yeah, but
outside of
now-
Brian Thomas, they don't
now
have
they need
another
him.
good target.
But they
You need him both
They
ways.
don't have a secondary. Yeah,
They need him more.
They
They need
him
him more defensively, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I'd
saying.
argue that.
Yeah, they do need him.
But I'd
I
also
think he's a better. I mean, but also like the goal of Cohen, his main priority is unlocking Trevor Lawrence to help
been
him
trying to do that
at
for
least get closer.
He has not.
At least
Not
get him
Cohen.
closer to the potential that he showed coming out of the draft. And in order to do that, it would be more beneficial to have Travis Hunter playing offense.
Trevor
I agree.
Lawrence is the
There's
most
no argument with that.
overhyped, overrated player I've ever seen play the
Okay,
game.
Jared,
of
shut
football.
up.
He
How do
is.
you
I don't
feel-
care.
Don't need to hear this every week.
I don't care. I don't like Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I think that's well. I think you're right, Zach, and I do think we'll see him in receiving sets. It's just a question of it's a 3 receiver set. Travis Hunter is now on the field, or is it gonna be it's a clear run play, or it's a running. Let's say it's a rushing down or whatnot. Is it gonna be Hunter's out on on 2 receiver sets? It's Thomas and someone else. Like, is that gonna be De'Ami Brown's out there?
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say Parker Washington's probably their number 3 right now.
Yeah,
I think it'll be interesting to see who's their slot guy.
De'Ami Brown.
No,
I mean, they brought him in. Like he actually might be their slot guy.
yeah, I know. I don't know. I think
he had a nice postseason.
Their receiving core is going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
I think, and your point to this as well is, okay, they're very cornerback needy, but like we can't discount they're still receiver needy. It's not like
they do have Gabe Davis, right? They got him.
Yeah, and the reason I think he's going to play more receivers because, they need cornerback, right? Like they need secondary, but also you can have the best secondary in the league, and if Lawrence doesn't take a step forward, they're not Super Bowl contenders.
If you're thinking Super Bowl contender, you're 3 years away yet.
And the best way to help a quarterback take a step forward is give them 2 top-tier receivers
behind an offensive line. Yeah.
And now, I mean, not giving up your first next year tells me that I got some expectations.
Well, yeah.
I'd bet a lot of money that they don't win more than 6 games this year. But
yeah, Jared, if we asked you, not a single team in the South would win more than 6 games.
I told you the Titans are going to win.
Updated futures?
Titans are going to win 4-5. The Jaguars will win 5-6. Colts will win.
I like the Titans
7-8.
Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't even go there.
Texans will be 9-10.
Okay, I got updated futures. Jaguars are at 7.5 over under now after the draft.
That's a good line. That is a great line. I would say under at 7, but that's his method.
Colts are at 7.5 as well.
And I'd say we win 8. I think we go 8-9.
Jaguars are doing better than the Colts.
You just think Colts make Jared mad. Oh, Colts suck.
No,
we re-signed all of our players. We had a good draft. We got Cam Bynum. We got Travarius Ward. If Richardson shows any promise, we're going to win 10 games. Like,
problem with Richardson is your offense is basically one-dimensional.
How? JT? What do you mean? Best offensive line?
That is the one dimension.
Richardson can run. What do you mean? There's 2 dimensions right there.
That's one dimension.
RPOs, handoffs. There's 2 dimensions.
Run pass runs.
RPRs, yeah.
We're 2-dimensional. We can run the ball, and we can run the ball with a different guy.
No, because Daniel Jones might step in if we need someone to complete passes. There we go. We could use him like a Justin Fields. I don't think that even when both healthy, I think it's going to be kind of like a Justin Fields. I don't think there's a game that goes by this year where Daniel Jones doesn't play a snap in every single game, even when Richardson's healthy. I think
that's how you win Super Bowls. You play 2 different quarterbacks.
Well, I think that's a great weapon. I don't know. I think it's perfect. Richardson can go in there.
Have you noticed all the successful teams do that? They have 2 different quarterbacks that play in a game.
I mean, not statistically, no, but
Marcus Mariota came in a little bit last year.
I'm just saying, it's like Richardson. Listen, so we know Richardson has a thing for getting tired, right? So say he can give his all, and then on a 3rd and 10, tap out, and Daniel Jones can complete that pass. That's a joke, obviously, but I'm just saying Daniel Jones is getting paid enough to be a good backup. I don't think he'll just sit on the bench. I think he'll be part of the offense. And Richardson's an athlete. He could take a handoff or something. I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to see.
Well,
Not that we ever would, but
Zach, you bring up Tennessee. They have a nice draft. Would you all like to guess their over/under for how many? What their line's at right now for wins?
5.5.
Say
Yep.
4.5.
Yeah, 5.5.
Yeah.
Jared knows.
Even with Cam Moore, they have nothing else. That's all they have.
well,
Running back.
I would have liked them to be a little bit more
Total?
aggressive to get another weapon.
Yeah, that
They
was,
waited.
they went tight end, but
I like them only having Kelvin
got a
Ridley
receiver,
for my
but-
fantasy team.
Gunnar Helm and Alec Ayana Moore, whatever, how do you say his last name?
But to your point, it was not a premier receiver. Call it in the
No, I think they're what, 4th, 5th rounds.
yeah. They went later on the Capitol. Some other surprising ones of note. The 49ers, their win total after this draft.
8.5. No, it's probably a lot lower.
7.5.
6.5.
10.5.
Whoa, I was closer.
So,
crazy.
I mean, right?
Because
Kittle, right, we saw
CMC's a
Kittle's
top
sign,
running
we
back.
saw.
That's why.
I mean, obviously, there's got to be some value there, or there's some CMC, as Jared alluded to. But I mean, they got some running back depth in the draft. On the offensive side. I don't know. I thought they're, but
I
again,
like
they had
their
another.
draft. I thought it was decent.
But the draft wouldn't bring them from a 6-win team last year to an 11-win team this year, right?
I mean, I think some of that is probably being a little bit healthier.
Yeah, I was gonna go injuries. It was really the big thing. I thought.
Ayuk is back for
right, they-
second half, right?
Yeah, he'll be back second half. But also, like, Pierce will be second year. He's kind of involved in the
gone, right?
offense now.
Debo's gone.
Yeah, Debo's gone. Still
Where's
have Kittle. McCaffrey should be back. Debo's in Washington.
Washington.
They well, San Francisco defensive line was the story. First 2 picks, there's Michael Williams and Alfred Collins, so should increase the pass rush there. I mean, that's San Francisco forte, right? And then they also got a linebacker in the 3rd round. So right, defense was the story. Kind of what we expected. I mean, Robert Saleh was one of the people who what they felt was a win. And I think that's a little bit to it as well as
I think that's
Saleh's
huge.
there now. They just got 3, guys who are arguably going to be starters right away from the get-go who they feel are going to be impact players. So, yeah, I think that's going to be nice for that. But, yeah, not full on the offensive side.
9.5 for Packers, I'm guessing.
Yep, exactly.
And Bears are probably 7 or 8.5. 8.5.
8.5 now.
Vikings are probably the same, 8.5.
Yep.
And then the Lions are what, 10.5? 11?
Yep. Wow.
10.5.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at any of them. I'm just obvious.
You just
I
know
think those
ball.
are pretty
Yeah.
obvious.
Well, and I gave you the surprising ones right away because those stand out right like from the get-go. Raiders is another interesting one.
That's going to be, even with Genty, it's probably still like 5.5.
6.5.
Yeah, it's 6.5. I thought that one. We didn't even talk about the Raiders draft yet.
That's
they
probably
went out. They got Beck, one of the solid receivers in the
Yeah.
draft in the middle. Genty, obviously. Offensively,
they got a lot of
I'd say
work they
that's
need to
one.
do without
but
a solid. I mean, I guess they do have a quarterback now, kind of. I guess, but I don't know. Still, there's not much that they can do to compete this year. In my
I
opinion,
think they'll be solid.
a solid
Still
6-7 win
division,
team,
but-
yeah, that they're going to be. Yeah, it's last place.
But yeah, Geno definitely takes a step back in terms of receiving targets or like Jack Beck and Trey Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously
Trey
Bowers
Tucker.
is the clear.
It'll be
Don't you have
Bowers,
Trey Tucker on like all
Jacoby, and
your leagues, Drew? He's like your go-to guy, your streamer.
I
of the
dropped
week?
Trey Tucker. I dropped him. I couldn't running out of bandwidth and so I need extra roster spots or a taxi squad spot or something.
Well, Zach doesn't believe in taxi squad, so don't ask for it in his
There's
league.
a taxi squad in there.
Or is that your
Yeah.
league, Drew? Your league doesn't have taxi squad.
We actually added one. There was
We did this year.
poll
Okay.
that passed. So
Yep.
no league median though. Maybe that's what
Of
you're.
course not. Not yet.
No.
I think if you're gonna
Put up
implement
next year.
league median, you gotta you should probably start a new dynasty league with league median as the rule. It's not. Really
it's not a
something you
deal
can-
breaker.
Well, it's not something
No,
you
it's
can
not
just
that big.
add. Like I feel like that's people are gonna be mad.
Yeah, you can easily just add that one. That one's not even close. I've seen worse. I watched the league go from one quarterback to super flex. Now that ruins the league.
Yeah.
Zach's the commissioner of that league now is the irony of all this. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
after I was not part of that.
you are right now, though.
That would ruin a league going from 1 to
But
2 to 2
league median
quarterbacks.
does not matter. Trent had a team one year that was like 10th in scoring. That was like what, the 3 seed?
Okay, so even then, he'd
Oh
probably
yeah, I was
still
you know,
be, if he was 10th in scoring and he was the 3 seed or 1 seed, say he's the 1 seed, right? With league median, he's still like a 6 at best.
league median
Yeah,
takes
that's
a
the
big
point.
toll.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm just saying he would be higher, but it's not like he's going to be still a
Well, it's versus getting a buy or
you know.
not. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it makes
Or-
a difference. I'm not saying it's useless. I think it actually would help a lot. It would be cool to add. I've never been in the league with that.
Have
So
you
that'd
been
be
the
kinda
7th seed
cool.
before? Where the 6th seed you score
Just-
like 500 more points then?
No, just last year I was the 7 seed, but I missed out because he scored like 10 more points than me, or 7 more points, I think it was. And it was
No,
Tyler.
So that's how leagues should happen. So tough luck.
No, I think we can try it next year, maybe. It just takes a little while.
No,
I
if the
voted
people
no
don't
for
want
this
it,
year.
people don't. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm good
I
with
voted
that.
no just because it is kind of league altering, and it's another thing to keep up with all the leagues I'm in too. It's like, oh, I lost, but I got a point. How am I 1-1 after losing? And it's like, oh, that's right. It's just something
Zach-
that messes things up a little bit, I think.
Yeah. Question for you, Zach, because I know you've been involved with some more of the Dynasty community too. I'm seeing this half point premium for tight end premium is the obvious, right? Where it's a half point, whatever. I'm seeing 0.75, or I mean, actually seeing an additional point of tight end premium. So like tight end premium essentially on steroids. So
Yeah.
are you a fan of those? I think that's too much.
I don't know. I was just playing around. I think it was last year. I was playing around with a league that I just like started a league. Like I wasn't actually, like inviting anybody or whatever, just playing around with settings to see what the scoring was like. And I got it to a point where all positions had similar scoring. Because I think like that's the thing, right? If you look at like the 10th tight end, if you don't have like a top 5, 6 tight end, that tight end is really contributing nothing to your team, right? So that's like the whole point, is to make it where the tight end 10 is actually scoring double-digit points, or like they're scoring 15 points, so it's more comparable to other positions. And I think an entire tight end premium point really drives that point home, and probably, I guess I'd have to look at it more, but I think that would almost make it where even with only starting one tight end, the value is more similar to like a receiver or running back. And I mean,
Well,
you can even flex them then, right? Like that, they're in the
that's where I was
range
gonna
of
go. Yep.
flex possibility at that point.
Yeah, so I don't have the numbers in front, but just to quantify anything here, but talking about how it looked was, yeah, having an extra point is where you get, like, we're talking, you might have 2 top 10 tight ends. You might be actually putting one in your flex. I mean, they're up there with, in terms of, let's take Brock Bowers, where he ends up. He's a wide receiver
probably
one.
The highest scoring non-quarterback, I would assume. I think he had 200 points last year.
Yeah, and we're getting to, like, if you just take his receptions and you add a point for each one, right? Or you'll get you get to a level where, yeah, this guy is a true difference maker, where he is an early first rounder. I mean, he is he's going to be going with Jefferson, and then that's in a redraft setting. But in Dynasty, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I had a nice offer. I had a big offer for Bowers and Zach's league, and I mean, it went nowhere. Even a non-tight end premium, just because of the difference. I couldn't even imagine a tight end premium, the amount of talent you'd have to give up. So
yeah, I mean, I think at that point, like Bowers would probably be probably untouchable. Like
it's like a Josh
his
Allen.
value it'd be more than probably Malik Neighbors right now, right? And I think when you look at Neighbors, he's 21 years old and was the wide receiver 6 or 7 as a rookie with awful quarterback play. So I guess I've never played a tight end premium league. I would like to try it. I guess that was one of the. You have played one?
Yeah, so I've done a half. I did a half for redraft. So
Mhm.
right, call it 1.5. I tight end. It was salary cap, so you're not gonna like that part right away. But I will say the value. Tight ends were going way too high, so I went more. So I got a K dot, and I got a couple, of course, K dot, but I got a couple guys who were more fringe, and rolled that. I actually. I think I made the playoffs. You know, they didn't win the league, but
Yeah, of course you made the playoffs. Drew doesn't miss the playoffs. What do you mean? You don't miss the
no,
playoffs.
I don't miss the playoffs.
Have you looked at tiered PPR at all?
Is that like running backs get a certain, and then receivers?
So usually, yeah, what I've seen usually it's like I'd say most common would be like 0.5 for receivers, 0.75 for running backs, and 1 for tight ends. Like 0.5, 1, and 1.5 or whatever.
No, don't like those. Same with point per first down. Do not like.
I don't like that either. No.
Because I mean, just Jared.
I also hate,
I mean,
like,
you're a traditional.
I hate point for first down, and I hate like 5 points for a 40-yard play or 6 points for a 50-yard stuff like that. Like that's
Now we're getting
that's
to Bernie
ridiculous.
scoring.
Yeah, it makes it too like just stupid. There's no reason why a 50-yard touchdown catch should be worth 5 for the 50 yards, 1 for the first down, 1 for the catch, so 7 plus the touchdown. You shouldn't get 14, 15 points on a 50-yard touchdown. Not even the yards. It's like 20 points. It's like a 20-point touchdown. That shouldn't happen. So
I mean,
or a
I'm in a
1-yard
league
run
where-
shouldn't be 1.1 because you get a first down on the run. It's stupid.
I'm in a league where we get, I think it's either just 1 or 2 points for like a 50-yard touchdown. And I like the little bit of bonus because
That's fair. It doesn't like change.
I mean, yeah,
You're not
it's
gonna like
obviously a huge
drastically.
play.
Yeah, it's not gonna flip everything. A 50-yard touchdown happens maybe 5 times a year for players on your team. It's not like it's something that happens every week, so it doesn't
Unless
change
you
it
have
too
Jamar
much.
Chase.
Yeah,
Oh.
unless you have like Alec Pierce on your team and Xavier Worthy or something. But
Yeah. I'm in a best ball IDP league as well. That's one I actually co-managed with Bernie. And we took second first year. We won it this past year. Just got to throw that in there.
there you go.
Yeah, we won that. But where's Travis Hunter going to go? It's not official for us, but I believe they're going to go default settings where Hunter will accrue receiving and tight end stats in one spot per week.
I don't know how much he's going to be
He's gotta
used at
be
a
big.
receiver. I can't take him until I see.
I think he's going to be 1-1.
He's got to be at that point.
That's such a risk. What do you mean? What if he plays like 10 offensive snaps a game and he's primarily defense?
But Jared's like Shohei
But he's
Ohtani. It's
getting
like 2 and
defensive
1.
points too.
What defensive points do you get in that league? What?
Oh, you get I will. This is actually a valid. This is my pushback that I have with Jared. Tackles are heavily weighted in this. It's assisted tackles, total tackles.
So there is defensive points. Yeah, I didn't know that. So
there are
He said
defensive
changes
IDP.
things.
Yeah.
but
Then
corners.
maybe you would. Yeah.
Pat Surtain, you think Surtain. Or
It's
is
normally
gonna be-
linebackers that are up top.
Yeah,
Zaire
but you think a
Franklin
lockdown corner is going to accrue a lot of points. Guess what? They really don't. They don't get a whole lot of tackles.
You get like
Sauce
4
Gardner.
tackles a game. Yeah.
They don't get any
Yeah.
stats. Yeah.
So that's
Unless they
the
get a
pushback.
pick 6 or
But-
something. It's normally like linebackers and then some like edge rushers,
Safeties.
maybe. I guess safeties can get some tackles too if they come up.
Mhm.
Yeah. But that's normally the big because
Derwin
sacks
James
you
is
get a lot
the
of points for
safety who
sacks. Yeah.
gets the most tackles, I'd say,
Yeah.
in that, or Winfield. So yeah, it's really tough to gauge, and I'm intrigued. I think
Wait,
he's going to
like
go
Russell Gage? Or
Yes.
Okay.
But just want to throw that out there because we were talking weird settings, and that's a dilemma I know I'm going to have because we haven't seen anything like this. So
I would take
Yeah.
him 1-1
I mean,
then
but
if
at
there's
that point-
defensive points, yeah.
At that point, if cornerbacks don't score, like if a good cornerback week is 10 points, and you can start him at a corner, and he's playing even 60% of wide receiver snaps.
that's
I
the
mean, that's
coin.
basically starting a receiver as a cornerback.
This guy's gonna give you all hope for the best. He's gonna be hurt so much. If he's playing both ways all game, like
No, he's
You have
not
durability.
playing 100%.
you
both
can't
ways.
make a huge tackle one play and then the next play go to the other side of the ball and catch a 50-yard touchdown.
it won't be
Like,
like
sure.
that. No, it's
Sure, he might be able to do it once or twice a year, but like he's going to be so taxed. His body is not going to be able to hold up by year 4 or 5.
My
It's not
assumption would
smart.
be he plays like, say it's like 50-50 offense defense, like in a normal game. I'd say he plays like 60% of the snaps.
Yeah.
That's what my
Then again,
assumption is going to
what
be.
relevance is that for fantasy if he's only playing 60%?
Yeah, I'm really getting the 10% advantage. But to Zach's point, if I can start, positionally, if I have that kind of advantage and upside,
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot of points that could be. And
Yeah.
what if he's in red zone? Like red zone and like passing downs. Oh, Travis Hunter comes out.
Yeah.
3 receivers set. I got a touchdown opportunity right there.
If I'm drafting someone that high, I want them to play
Dynasty?
every snap on offense, and I want them to catch
No, it's
touchdowns and get 6, 7, 8 catches a game. Hunter's not going to get that. He's going to put up some defensive stats, and he'll get 5, 6 targets a game if he's only playing 60% of the snaps. Like, it's really hard.
I've seen a lot of people saying Travis Hunter should be the clear 102 in rookie drafts.
You took Hampton,
not
right?
Not any of our formats. I don't think.
Took Hampton.
I think Hampton's the clear 102, and I'd argue.
I mean, like I'm saying, like people are saying that about non-IDP leagues, like just normal fantasy leagues.
No,
it's just offense.
Well, I'm thinking about my dynasty league being 6 point per passing super flex. I'm thinking about like Cam Ward. Does he go? Well, obviously, Genty should be one. Mm-hmm. Cam Ward versus Hampton is an intriguing argument where I don't know. I might consider Ward over Hampton, but maybe it's like one of those years where Jane Daniels and there's a couple other guys in there. Or no, it was the Richardson year. Never mind, not Daniels last year. Where there's a couple running backs too you could have taken, but I think that's going to be the. But obviously, I think Hampton should be the 102, even in 4 point super flex. I'd take Hampton over Ward, I think, but that's also pending team need.
I didn't see the hype in Hampton until Zach hyped him up, honestly.
Well, he graded well as a prospect. He looked well as a prospect, and he went somewhere with a very good landing spot.
Yeah,
so, as a first-round running back.
As a first-round with first-round capital.
There's value. I'm just saying. I think they take a lot of
stars align.
They weight. Well, yeah, they weight a lot of different factors when grading a player. For quarterbacks, you got to be able to obviously throw the deep ball, complete the passes. If you're mobile, you got to know how to run in a bootleg or RPOs, stuff like that. But then there's also that whole mental element with Stroud, where he has to be smart enough to know, and he wasn't. But what did that matter? He had a great first year. He had a decent second year. And I'm not defending Stroud, but they weight a lot of it on how you test or how you perform at one day of the year, one time at the combine or your pro day. Sure, sometimes that's where you show how good you are and you prove, to teams, hey, I'm worth the draft pick, But what if you don't show up and you're, maybe you're sick that day. Maybe you're not performing to the best. You're having a bad day. Things happen where obviously if you test well, you're probably better off going higher in the draft. But that can't just determine how good of a player you are just one day of the year, how you draft. It's like the ACT, right? I didn't do the best on the ACT, but it doesn't mean I'm not smart, Zach might say differently, but I don't know.
Look at if you look at the success rate on first round running backs for fantasy production, it's one of the safest bets you can ever make in fantasy.
Yeah.
Right. They always get plenty of touches.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, just such a great first round.
Great pick. Yeah.
I said success
he was 32.
Obviously,
he was a 32nd pick, and he was the only running back drafted that year. So people wanted a running back to go in the first round, and then JT went second round that year.
There's going to be some misses, but I mean, for the most part, first round running backs are very successful. Right, I mean Bijan, Gibbs.
There's no arguing that. I know.
Yeah, and then you add that with obviously, I think Hampton was a much better prospect than
Don't say it.
When we saw Najee go in the first round.
I don't know what he was going to say.
Fantasy, you take
going to say Genty or
me too. I didn't know where he was going with that.
No, but some of the other first round running backs that we've seen. Yeah, he's no question better than Najee for fantasy purposes. And we even saw Najee. I mean, his rookie year is running back 4.
He had over 1,000 yards
That was
every year.
primarily volume driven too, but I do agree that
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you think Hampton's not going to get the volume though? You know, like first round running back in a good offense that has shown they're more than willing to run the ball. I mean,
You know,
I think to
sometimes
start the year
value
it's
is
going to be
good.
committee.
Don't need to be that talented.
Yeah.
Who put Chuba Hubbard that high? Was that Zach or Drew? Who put him at top?
We both
10?
had him around the same spot.
Did you?
Yeah,
I mean, that's
think
all
so.
value driven. I mean, he's not the best player, but he gets all the snaps. So
He's good.
sometimes, yeah, he's good, but that's primarily because of all the value he gets.
I do think the first half this year, I at least have to suspect that Harris is going to be the 1A. Maybe that's a poor way of looking at it, but
I think he's going to be the primary early down guy. I still think Hampton's going to get a solid amount of carries, and he's going to be their primary pass catching back.
oh yeah, and I think that to your point, he's going to probably score more fantasy points in a full season than Najee then. But
That's all you
as a
want,
one-
right? You want more
Harris,
points?
But I'm talking about in a football sense. So being this top guy in this offense, he's going to get the early down work. He might get maybe goal line work. That's going to be a question too. But Hampton's going to definitely get the more fantasy relevant looks in terms of receptions and some big play.
We talk about how much they've changed their backfield since like even Eckler, like bringing in Dobbins, right? They had Dobbins.
Yeah.
Was that last year?
Edwards.
Now they got Najee. Yeah, like stick to a guy. You know, what's with the Chargers trading all their best players just to get new ones filtered in so quickly with their receivers or their running backs,
Trying to
coaching
churn,
staff.
coaching staff. Oh yeah, even like their
New coaching
coordinators.
staff, new GM. Yeah, but I'm saying that contributes a lot
That's
to player
I get
turnover.
it. Yeah, but Herbert's not going to have that, that excel in his career if they don't get
He's got
consistent
Ladd.
chemistry. Yeah, he's
They've
got
been
Ladd.
getting.
He's got someone.
They've done a lot to add weapons for him.
but they
I think
had
they've done a
weapons.
nice
I mean,
job.
Mike Williams ain't much
This
of
is
a
the time to be a
weapon,
Chargers fan if you're Zach.
No, Trey Harris is more of a. I think
Yeah.
Trey Harris will be their number 2.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, like, Herbert's your franchise guy. You kind of want to build around him really quickly, and it's taken them like 3 years before they finally got that consistent core to build around him with McConkey and hopefully with Najee.
You're
I
right.
don't
They
know.
haven't really been
Yeah.
competitive.
Yeah.
Shit, that's why we saw their old staff get fired.
We-
They
we
weren't
Yeah.
missed
doing
No,
it.
I get it. I get it.
Wait, where's Brandon Staley DC now?
Yeah, he still has
Dallas.
a job. You know, he's still.
Dallas, right?
No, New Orleans, I think.
Oh yeah, New Orleans. Oh, that's gonna be great.
Well, you said the same
Coach
thing about
Staley.
Kingsbury. You said the same thing about Kingsbury. Obviously, he wasn't a head coach.
Staley's the
Yeah,
champ. The tie game though, it should have happened.
tie. Yeah, that's what he's known for.
All
Time out.
right. Well, at that point, I'll wrap it here for Zack Rausch, Jared Valleskey, myself, Drew Skyberg here on this Wednesday evening. Thank you all for listening to yet another episode of Drew Sports Crew, The Journey to Million, the perfect podcast for you.